So I want to thank everyone for joining us yet again. We have the pleasure of speaking with Dr. Hemali Gunt from Burt's Bees. So thank you again for joining us, Dr. Gunt.
Thank you, Rachel. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I want to hear more about some of the work that you presented at the AAD conference recently in person, which is exciting. But you delved into an area of sunscreens that I would say as a consumer, I'm less familiar with in terms of Burt's Bees products. So I'm excited to hear what you found and what you can share about that study. So could you describe it for us a little bit?
Yeah, definitely. So at the back end, Rachel, we have been hard at work to create a aesthetically pleasing, very important because consumers want a mineral sunscreen that is going to be non-whitening, that is going to rub off easily into skin and still protect their skin, right? So we have had a couple different sunscreens over the last few years, but that has been the biggest challenge for us. And like I said, we have been hard at work and we finally were able to formulate a broad spectrum SPF 30 with inorganic sunscreen zinc oxide. It is aesthetically pleasing, non whitening, non comedogenic, and it works for all skin types. So, big, shout out to the R&D group who has worked so hard to do this. And we created this sunscreen for two to kind of address like two different issues, but they're kind also combined together. We, being a natural company, obviously we were going to go with inorganic sunscreens. We know that there is an inherent problem with some of the chemical sunscreens, and with sensitive skin being on the rise, there are, I don't know, over 50% of the population is now identifying as sensitive skin. So we wanted to formulate a sunscreen which was going to be safe for sensitive skin. Because when they use chemical sunscreens, they are often getting flushed or it irritates their skin. And it's all because of the mechanism. It's like, very simple that there is the photon that comes from UV radiation. It gets converted to heat energy, which will obviously irritate sensitive skin folks. So we wanted photo protection for sensitive skin. To add to that, because our marketing loves to make things complicated for us, it also had to, reduce signs of aging. So it had to be for mature skin.
Okay.
And we have, a phenomenal ingredient in our pantry, which is bakuchiol, a natural retinol alternative. So we introduced that into the SPF product for that particular benefit because we wanted to address the signs of aging. So that is how this ingredient was formulated. That it shouldn't disrupt the barrier. It should help fight signs of aging, be good for sensitive skin, and very, very thoughtfully crafted product. We have natural occlusive ingredients that are like, jojoba oil and beeswax. Beeswax, one of my favorite ingredients, it forms this film onto the skin which melts at body temperature. So it forms like a flexible film and your skin doesn't like pull or stick. So, it's a phenomenal occlusive ingredient. And then we had jojoba oil, which is a really lightweight natural oil, which is not similar to what we see from some of the petroleum distillates. So it's non-comedogenic, and it also contained glycerine and sodium PCA, inulin, all these wonderful ingredients that really help the skin. And then we took it to clinical testing because that is needed. And
Yes.
we did an open label study on 49 female subjects who had mild to moderate signs of photo damage and also had sensitive skin. They used the product for a period of 6 weeks, and assessments were made. They were for biophysical measurements of hydration, barrier function, excuse me, skin elasticity, and also objective and subjective clinical grading and tolerability. And within the study population, roughly 10% were African American subjects. So we got them to use the product for 6 weeks. And they said that, they really liked how it was non-whitening and it, rubbed into their skin without really changing their skin tone. So that was, a good data point. Even though it's a small data set, it's important for, us to call it out that it does do
Yeah.
that. So the results showed that there was absolutely no barrier damage through the transepidermal water loss measurements after 6 weeks of use of product. And there was an increase in the skin hydration by about 21%. So we are
Oh,
really providing the hydration through the SPF product in sensitive skin again, which is a huge feat to achieve.
yeah, that is quite the combination.
Exactly. And
Hmm.
to me, the biggest and the exciting piece is, when it comes to skin elasticity on aging skin, to be able to see, about a 30% decrease in the retraction time. And the retraction time essentially means that your skin is able to snap back to its original state. So
Sure.
it doesn't get disformed or deformed.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
so we were able to see that improvement in 6 weeks, which was, one of the secondary endpoints, but we threw it in
Yeah,
there to see whether it was going to work, and it did. We have
interesting.
another 12-week anti-aging study that is being conducted on this product, so we'll
Mhm.
be able to share that, hopefully at the next
Great.
conference.
Oh, that's exciting. And I said it before, I say it again, Bakuchiel makes another star appearance. So we're
Yes, it does.
excited to see what else it can do. Interesting. Um, So we touched on the study. Can you speak a little bit to how this aligns with kind of the company positioning and where it stands, kind of in the broader market, and then motivations. Again, I know always consumer need, but if you have any specific ones you can touch on, along with any scientific interest as to why do this study, why go this direction.
Right. So, I think I've mentioned earlier that every query or every ask that we get comes from keeping the consumer in mind, what it is that they are looking for, what it is that they need, and how can we address that. And like I mentioned earlier, I think that we already had SPF products, but we knew what the the gaps were and why consumers were not really liking it, so we had to fix it.
Hmm.
And we wanted to make it much better, which we did by introducing ingredients that help aging skin, making it good for sensitive skin.
Hmm.
So there is that inherent scientific interest to make a product better for the consumer.
Sure. Interesting. So, is there anything? I mean, it sounds like you were kind of surprised by the results, or pleasantly surprised that, especially the bakuchiol, had the effects that it did. But would you say that the study basically confirmed a lot of the, hypotheses that you already had developed?
It did confirm a lot of the hypothesis that we had when it came to, the sunscreen. But I
Mhm.
was concerned about the fact that because this is a mineral sunscreen, it might
Mhm.
dry out skin. And we had asked the subjects not to use any other moisturizer for
Mhm.
6 weeks.
Mhm.
So that was my concern, that if it starts to dry out skin, then we might see a decrease in barrier disruption. But
Okay.
interestingly, we saw an improved skin hydration, no disruption in barriers. So I was pleased. I mean, willing to defend with my team that even if we don't see hydration, that's good enough. But I didn't
Uh-huh.
have to do that, so that was
Nice.
great.
That's good. Good. Um, so, are there next steps to this investigation that you can mention, or any other hints that you can give us to potential future work in this area?
Of course. So I think I touched upon that we are conducting a 12-week anti-aging study with this particular product to actually show its, effects in anti-aging when it comes to wrinkle reduction and some
Mhm.
additional parameters. So that work should probably come out in the next few months.
Great.
And then we will be keeping an eye out on what consumers have to say about this product, and if it needs to be optimized. Honestly,
Sure.
haven't had a chance to think about what to do next in this space. It's been so busy with some of
Yeah.
the other active projects that we have going on. So,
Yeah.
but
Well,
yeah,
it's
definitely
exciting.
more to come in this space.
Wow. Exciting stuff. Well, I think with that, I will go ahead and wrap up this interview. So I want to thank you again, Himali, for joining us and sharing all your insights on this interesting new area of research that you're sharing with us from Burt's Bee. So thank you
Thank
again.
you, Rachel. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.